laps at them as they try and find where they are comfortable. Here we go.
Hello, Stickers and Scuffs family. K and Graydon Bunn back with you. We are here post-race for Sunset Speedway, very first two races of the NASCAR Pinty Series season, which we were both lucky to attend along with the Bunn sons and I guess the senior Harris, as we'll call them, coming along.
Team
First
dad.
off, yes, yeah, it's really a dad and son's trip once again. And it was. I think Graydon, you and I, we had talked about it. 2 years is a long time to go with no racing. And I cannot thank people enough for what they did for us being at the racetrack. A lot of fantastic people. First off, Jerry from Motorsport Alley. You'll see his right there. For Motorsport Alley. He's also, of course, he's the media PR guy at Sunset Speedway, and he was able to fight for us to get in under some media. And we want to thank Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross for their kind words to help get us in there, and especially a big shout out to Dean, our camera guy, and Joel Robinson for lending equipment to us for 20 minutes to give old Cam K his dream for a little bit. While it was impossible to talk and breathe at the same time in a mask, it was still a heck of a lot of fun. Graydon, we got to see 18 cars. We got to see 13 super stocks on top of that. Our very first time getting to see that. We got to meet some drivers from that series, including Jason Parker and Garrett Temiersma. What a great experience, but also an awful experience. Graydon, it was a long day, a very, very long day, a 2 to 3 hour red flag between the
for the first 6 laps.
For the first 7 laps of race one. We had to wait 3 hours and then basically have another 2 hours for the races to be finished. But overall, the Pinty Series is back, and the battle of the provinces was very, very on. This was not like, I mean, Graydon, one of the things that we can say about the Pinty Series the last couple of years is it's been a Quebec dominance. That was not the case in Ontario at Sunset Speedway. We had a battle between basically one Quebec driver for most of it and drivers from Ontario, Pete Shepard, Trayton Lapsevich, and then DJ Kennington in the second race. Classes of the field, though, for you, who were they? Because to me, Trayton and Pete were, along with Raphael Lessard, they were the best that were there. I don't know what happened in the 3 years, but Andrew Ranger was not Andrew Ranger that we were used to seeing. Now, again, it's not a road course, right? He's always kind of a little bit quieter on the ovals, but Kevin Lacroix wasn't competitive really. So it was just, and LP Dumoulin was just kind of quiet. He wasn't really up in the front either. So Graydon, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I'm going to start with your LP comment first. We want to thank Dumoulin Competition for the follow recently.
Yes.
And for the kind words that they said to us. We can't thank them enough for that. But I remarked on the fact that this isn't the first time. I think I could almost consider LP building this sort of under the radar sort of reputation where you may not, almost a Kevin Harvick type thing sometimes, where he may not be talked about for much of the race, but then you can always bet that Black 47 is going to be in the conversation.
Storm Chaser, the WeatherTech 47. They posted a great photo. Great. I don't know if you saw it with like the clouds kind of moving away and the car in the middle. I'm like, that's That's got to be on a shirt somewhere. Like that thing looked wicked.
Oh man, there's so many things I want to talk about, and like you just that picture, the talking about the sky. I mean, when the rain finally ended, our buddy Stephen Ellis was there. Congrats on the win in the I race too.
Yeah, buddy.
But I mean, the photographer's opportunity there with the beautiful sunset at Sunset Speedway once the rain clouds finally got out of there. Provided some great photo opportunities, and once the dark set in, the sparks were flying and tempers were flaring. So the classes
were they?
to the field, to get to your initial sort of question there. I mean, Lessard, that Whitey's cars have speed. I mean, that 80 car definitely has speed. I mean, Lessard wouldn't put the thing on its like completely on his back. I mean, he's got the talent, but he had the car under him too. So I would say definitely that 80 car looked good. Did Donald proud there. It was nice to see him and get a quick hello with him. Hope he gets better real soon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's got to be pretty happy seeing his car going around there and taking checkered flags hand over fist. So, and then as you said, PD3 was pretty fast. He seemed pretty hungry and rammy. I don't know if it's due to the fact that he isn't running the full schedule. He just he's really hungry for a win, and for better or worse, he was going after it. And also fellow Team Quick member, Drayton Lapsovich, that you got to speak to as well in the pit area. He did a great job. I mean, there was a light dust up in the closing lap, and that kid came through
in both races.
Yeah, I mean, he is an amazing wheelman beyond his years. I mean, it's in his blood
17.
for sure, but I mean,
17.
And I mean, when he got spun out and put back, he could have quite easily completely lost his mind and gone berserk, like I probably would if I was in the race car. But I'm sure, I don't know, that's a certain thing. What makes a race car a great race car driver is being able to channel that anger and rage or whatever and put it in your right foot and in your hands in the steering wheel and be able to slice and dice and come back through the field, and in that final race rally to finish fourth. I mean, my God, that was some of the most impressive, like if you take certain scenarios and situations in that race, was some of the best racing I've seen in the Pinty series, maybe ever, if not in a long time.
Absolutely.
Raphael made some pretty crazy moves, slicing and dicing 3 wide for the lead and making it complete.
What was side by side grade
forever, man? Yeah, I mean,
it was those top 14 of 18 cars were all in the lead pack. It wasn't.
Yes.
I realistically, we look at it. Shantel was a little bit further back. Brent Weller was a little bit further back. Renamoto, and then Dexter Stacy, and we want to give a quick shout out to Dexter, running a beautiful, great tribute car. And I don't know what happened early, but his car was all over the place. He was struggling in those first couple of laps. He was losing it after every corner. And unfortunately, both of his races ended on lap 65 of the very first race. Completely broke the suspension. First race, DJ Kennington has a fuel pump problem, and he's out of it almost immediately. And you're like, what is going on? Luckily, I think Graydon, what was nice is that they can work on the car to repair it in time for the second race. So luckily he was able to do that.
I have that here. One of the key points I wanted to talk about was DJ's, knowing him personally. I mean, everybody works hard on their stuff, but you talk about an owner and a driver that literally does everything on the team, like right down to driving his own car to the track, or like the hauler. Him and his Castrol boys fixed that fuel pump issue in 25 laps and got him back running before the end of the first race. And then look where race 2, if he had race 1 like he had race 2, he could have been a threat to win or in the conversation, because man, he was on fire.
And that wasn't DJ that we've seen in the past. He was invigorated. He was pumped up. I mean,
I got a feeling that guy is so hungry right now that I can't wait to see how this season unfolds.
And he won that last race in 2019 at Ducasa, right? So
yep.
Or was it 20? He won 2020 at Ducasa, did he not?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it was the finale, not 2019. It was last year. And
yeah, the season finale is that's DJ's.
And he doesn't have Ducasa this year. He has Delaware, and you know that he does not want to wait until Delaware to win. But from what we saw, the performance off, all 3 cars, I would say DJK Racing was a little off. Andrew Ranger just seemed to, he did get the podium in the first race. He hung out. He did very well for Rick Ware Racing's very first attempt. Alex Gannett did very well in his races, despite being spun multiple times, being put to the back, starting at the back. He had some choice words for somebody at the end of the race. I couldn't tell who he was going for, but because his crew stopped him. Yes. But Alex Gannett was going to go kick some ass at the end of this race. So he was not the only one, though, Graydon.
So no, he wasn't. There was
I think like 4 or 5 different people that were upset at each other.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I don't even know where to start. I mean, the White Motorsports RGC boys, Mark Dilley, and which I have a piece of his car in our garage now. Talk about making lemons out of lemonade there, because there was a lot of pieces to go around for some fans, unfortunately, off of Mark's car. And then also TJ Renamoto got tore up really through no fault of his own.
No.
Looked like he wasn't super quick there, but I mean, there was that was definitely through no fault of TJ. He was out there running his laps, and him and Shantel were having a pretty good battle there too. Yeah. And it was pretty entertaining watching our girl in that 98 car making passes too and doing great. Man, I could go on forever here about different things. Where do you want to go
now? Well, we'll continue, because one of the things that we really like is that this field was so competitive. I honestly, been
there was
so
battles through like every,
and
there's the have and have nots in any series, and it's just more microcosm to the Cup Series. But you could watch anywhere, and I can't wait to watch these races back again.
Yes,
because I know there's stuff I've missed.
Exactly, and I'm so curious about some of these drivers. Brent Weller from the Ontario Sportsman Series, in his very first race, he was running with the guys at the back of the pack, but not completely off the pace. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I really liked about it. Is even with TJ, when TJ Renamoto first started in this series, and I saw him at Ducasa, they were out to lunch. He was so far behind the rest of the field.
It's such a fast track to learn on.
The field this weekend was close. I don't think there was any lap cars at the end of the race, either one of them. Now, mind you, there was calamity and people got their laps back. But Kalika was able to get up there into the top 10. Jackson got up there in the top 10. Career best finish for Shantel Kalika in both races. She went from the back in both races. I was incredibly impressed, because we've seen that 98 before, and it struggled. It has been, out early, and as she mentioned, the throttle kept sticking in practice.
Yes,
so they were not, and in qualifying, so they were not comfortable at all with that car. They fought back, and who are we to question Jim Bray in that team? Jim's a legend in this series. They got in. I don't know if you can see. Obviously, I've got a Curb Records car right above me. That'll Dale Earnhardt, and we had Curb Records on Shantel Kalika's car. Okay, that isn't something that we get to see that often. We got Rick Ware and we got Curb Records in the same race. That's what we need. We need that help from those lower divisions. We need that help from those series down south. We need that help to help
the collaboration
series. Okay. What we've talked about, Graydon, that field was one of the most competitive fields I've ever witnessed. There was a couple engine and mechanical problems, but it was the guys at the top. DJ, Kevin Lacroix. His second race, Kevin Lacroix is out after 30 laps.
Yeah.
And
that had to be
that's a Donnie Thompson car. Don Thompson, and he's a 7-time champion in CASCAR. Or 5 times.
And we know Kevin is as competitive as it gets. That must have killed him watching that race unfold without him.
And what Racing Reference had it listed as was a rear end trouble.
It was a rear end.
And we smelt it. We smelt it when it went off. And
it was smoking heavily out that rear end for sure.
It did. And it's funny because we noticed that Andrew was falling back too in race 2. Yeah. And then they had something come off. They had a bolt break on the car. And
I saw Joe's tweet about that.
Yeah, Joe Chisholm, our buddy. Good buddy. Nice to see you, Joe. It was awesome to get to talk with you.
That was fun.
We have to talk about the experience at Sunset Speedway because I've never been to that track before. Graydon, you had been to the track before, right?
I've been to the track many times. Yeah, it's great.
So that facility, guys, if you've never been there, you need to go. You can see everything.
Fun. Yeah,
you can see everything. There's literally no bad seat. Not. I mean, for what it was, we were covered in mosquitoes, but I didn't get bit because as soon as those cars started up, I guess the amount of wind and turbulence. I don't know what was going on, guys.
I didn't see one bug there at all.
Oh, I felt them all over me, but I didn't get any. Bite. So clearly the cars in the air chase away the bugs, man. It was awesome. The competitiveness that we talked about, having Rafael Lessard in the series is good because he's coming down from running in the in the Camping World Truck Series. He's hungry for wins. Controversial race. The first one around, the second one around. Lots of contact up front. Andrew gets into Trayton, who then gets into Pete Shepard. Trayton goes around in both races after contact. Pete Shepard goes around after he passes Lessard, and Lessard put it right back to him. And when they got to victory lane in race 2, Pete Shepard followed Trayton Lapsevich over. Now, I was going to say that Trayton Lapsevich was maybe going to be upset.
That's what I thought at first.
Last act, Trayton. But then I thought Trayton is a lot smaller than Raphael and a lot of his people there. But he came over and he gave him a handshake. What a class act. Trayton Lapsevich in that second race, I was heartbroken. He was going to get that. He had the faster car. He chased Raphael down, and he was there with 3 to go. We were on our feet. We were not sitting down. We were hollering. He got to the inside with 3 to go, and he lost it. And I think collectively, the entire fans in the stands all broke their hearts at the same time because, except for the French fans were ecstatic. But the Ontario fans were, oh man, when he took the lead, the crowd roared, and he's going to be in this series, hopefully for a couple years.
But we don't want to see him move on too fast because that is a good show.
He's good. He's humble. He, and like we said, primarily he raced clean. He got it into DJ a couple times, just a good old bump to DJ. But
though, like how at a Talladega or Daytona race, well, that's just product of restrictor plate racing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a product of bull ring racing. You're gonna have contact. There's no two ways about it.
Exactly.
You're gonna rough up on somebody, whether it's intentionally or by accident. But it's, if you come out of there without body damage, it's a miracle.
Well, and Marc-Antoine Camerand and Mark Dilley, Brett Taylor and Mark Dilley, like there was so much bumping and banging throughout the rest of the field. We do have to mention though that the victory lane celebration was, like I was getting to, it was cut short a little bit. Pete Shepard came over and had words, and Raphael gave it right back to him.
Yeah, he stood his ground.
He stood his ground. And while I appreciate Donald Teach getting involved, this is where I really appreciated what Sherry Putnam did. Is as soon as Sherry Putnam saw this starting to happen, she flew in the middle of that male testosterone, and she was, we are not doing this. Not here. Not right now. And absolutely, because she's
ultimate mom of the series.
She's got to put the boys in line. She's got to put the boys in line. Like, hey, you guys are in victory lane. We're on TSN. Do not embarrass us. And it was getting to the point too, because Trayton was coming over to say, hey, good race. And then all of a sudden he's got Pete behind him going, hey, watch what you're doing. And you know what? I will agree that Donald Teach had a point. Pete was pushing him, bumping to try and get by. And as soon as he got by, Raphael said, I didn't like the way you were racing me. Goodbye. And if you listen to Raphael's post race, he pretty much said that.
Yeah. To touch on all that, it's no coincidence that the back of the 80 car and the front of the 7 car were wore out. I mean, I don't know if there is a specific, like, again, I've been down this road with Kevin Lacroix. I am not in the seat or in the guy's helmet. So I don't know what's happening between those guys are the only ones that know for sure. But if you're wearing the hell out of that guy's back bumper, maybe you're faster, maybe you're not. I mean, that 80 car was stout, so is that 7 car. Whew. But that lead, if Raphael was holding Petey up, that's what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
Especially for the lead. As much as that might piss that second place guy off, that is what it doesn't matter if that's even, like, ask Ryan Newman. I mean, that guy drives the widest car in the Cup Series because he does not like being passed. If it's for top 10, top 5, or top 20 position, doesn't matter. So I see it from both sides, but to your point, I applaud Sherry for getting in there and diffusing the situation, because that could have escalated.
And when you have
really
Pete Shepard,
the victory lane situation, and Donald Teach is in there, and
he's got a cast.
I don't think he would have been afraid to swing that arm.
No, and I like seeing that.
I love the passion. Yes,
I love the passion between both of them, because to me, I'm a Pete Shepard fan. I'm a Raphael Lassard fan. We're Pinty's fans. We are not saying one is right, one is wrong. We loved it. It was exactly what the series is about. Yeah. Right?
Good entertainment. Pinty's.
And I know Trayton had some squabbles with people. His brother had squabbles with people. It is a product of short track racing. That is what happens. It cannot be. And listen, there was a good bit of this race that started. It was clean for like the first 50 laps. There was no contact at all. But when they ran out of time, holy crap, did people starting to get really, really pushy. We want to give some shout outs here.
Yes, we do.
Larry Jackson. Not his best career finish, but in his own equipment. I know he's won with CBRT. He had gotten on the podium a couple years ago, but I believe Larry had one of his best days ever with a 10th and a 7th, 2 top 10s to start the season. Yeah. And you know what? He fell back on the very start of the race to second last. He fell all the way to 17th. Yes, he did. And he battled and battled. Not only that, we also have to give him credit for getting a sponsor in O'Neill Electric Supply that's going to come on for the full season. Milwaukee Tools coming on with them. And he did us a real solid and put our logo on his car. He and Matty Scannell, who's on his cars, who's driving with him for his team. Maddie's supposed to be at
Howie's on the box, right? Too.
Howie's on the box. Howie's the
Larry's not a complete one-man team. That's for sure.
No, absolutely not. And Maddie wants to have our logos on his car as well. So we got to make sure we get those out to him at some point. But Shantel Kalika coming all the way out from out west. Brett Taylor was really happy to see me. Obviously, us there. Alex Tagliani once again. The people are there. LP. I had to make sure to thank him for doing a video for the boys.
Yes.
The people in this series are like nothing else. You go and you see Alex's crew, Fritz now, I think is how you say it, his name.
I love Fritz. He's a good dude.
Fritz, I look forward to seeing working on the cars. Our buddy Jason Metcalf got himself a position. He's working on Mark Dilley's car, and he came over to say hi. Brandon McFerrin. Sorry, Mark. Brandon McFerrin, who was working on as a spotter for Brent Weller's car.
Nice.
I mean, it was so cool to see all of that. Like we said, Jerry, we said Joel, Caitlin Patrick for letting us do it. Stephen Ellis, our good buddy, taking pictures of us throughout the event for the podcast.
Excellent pictures.
Amazing pictures. Obviously, I got to give a call out to my dad. Sunset Speedway,
your dad takes some great pictures too.
Sunset Speedway for being such great hosts for the series. Really, it's a great little facility. They got some good food. I actually was very impressed with their cheeseburger. So it was very tasty. And the fans that we got to meet there was awesome. We got to talk about Naus and Mrs. Naus.
Yeah, John and Alyssa for sure. I've wanted to meet John for a long time. We're similar guys. I mean, without ever exchanging like audible words to each other, I know that guy is my kind of people. And as soon as we met and we started talking, we had a great conversation, or we had numerous great conversations as we sort of crossed paths through the day. So as you said, and Mason and Tori. I don't know if I told you, when we were all kind of in limbo waiting what was going to happen, you were back in the pit seeing what the word was. I actually did run into our buddy Wade, and we chatted. So I like it kind of was a whirlwind after you came back. So I think I forgot to mention that. So I did.
Yes, you did.
But I was playing the fuel mileage game with my phone at that point, so I didn't get a picture of us together. And I told Wade we're going to do that again. It sounds like CTMP is going to shape up to be a good show for us.
We know our buddy Mark. Mark, I'm mixing everybody up. Mark Hall, no.
Mike Gray.
Matt Hall wants to go to
Matt
Hall wants to go to CTMP. Mike Rice, we got to meet there. Jerry Hall, Pedal Power, the legendary Pedal Power, and all of her highlight videos. She caught me while we were heading back in to watch the race. She was waiting in line to get some fries, but the crowd was amazing. But I think one of the biggest, Mike Herniak coming out and sitting with us. That was a surprise. We weren't expecting to see him. Joe Chisholm, Jr. But I don't. Greg McPherson was awesome to see. Adam Ross, Clinton, Jamie Hackinson
said hey, and we're gonna go a little further in depth, but the guy that led us through the gate after the second race went.
I was going to. Before we forget, Frank and Dave. I got to meet Frank, and we got to see Dave with our Quick Wick pal. But Tony Spiteri, Uncle Tony, as he calls himself, as we call him, Uncle Tony, from Pinty's. If I had the money and I had the availability, I would stock my freezer from top to bottom with Pinty's products, because that man gave us an opportunity to interact with Raphael out onto the track. As a racing, I'm going to try not to cry here, because as a racing fan, I've never been able to actually, and this we're talking 20 years since I was 10 years old. I've never been able to be on a track post race.
Never.
We always
I
left.
didn't realize that was such a big thing.
Yeah, we always left though, so it wasn't something that was. For a long time I was very quiet in racing. I didn't want to do anything. There was a point where I didn't get involved in racing at all because people didn't like me for it. And the amount of love that the people in this series gave, not just you, Graydon, and not just the boys, but for somebody like me, it was. It's family, man, and it's what it feels like. And if I can get Graydon misty-eyed at this story, it tells you it's the truth, because you won't get that down south. I'm sorry, you won't. Not unless you're involved in
by and large, no.
Not like what we saw. And those people we mentioned, Mason, Jonathan, Mark Urban was there as well.
Yeah, I miss Mark.
The crew members, the people we hadn't met until that day. Jerry, for all of his advice, Jerry Hall, getting to see him after doing paint scheme stuff with him. You don't realize the people, that they're not bullshitting you.
No.
You think that the humbleness isn't real, and then you actually meet them and it's like your best buddies, and you've been buddies for 30 years.
And we're citing how this weekend was. It was just a privilege to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I gave a shout. NTN Bearings providing some sort of an interactive experience.
So glad they're back.
So huge.
And Leland, O'Neill Electric, Quick, all those people that had VIP sections,
getting people to the track and back out and having some
and we
fun.
Need them, but we need you fans. We need you guys to go to the tracks.
And it was a good turnout, even after that.
It was pretty good.
Most people stuck around.
Most people stayed.
And that was a late night.
And what other sports fans?
A lot of people.
What other sports fans stay in the pouring rain, get soaking wet? There were people that didn't. There were people that didn't even leave the bleachers. They stayed sitting there in the cold rain the entire time. We were pansies. We got up and we left, but there were people that sat there.
Trailer to sit in there. And go through
that's right.
NASCAR memorabilia. So it's not like we didn't have stuff to do.
Well, we really like, I think, Graydon, we really want to see it continue. We want to build this series so that we can do podcasts at the track. We can interact with you fans, because that's what this series needs. It needs a tailgate. It needs pre-race shows. It needs the love that it deserves, because Matt Weaver wrote an article about this series. He doesn't have to do that. He has tons of racing that he covers over the United States, but he comes up to watch this series. I'll be honest. You go to a lot of these tracks, it's not we went up there. There's no memorabilia tents. There's not yards of cars for sale and NASCAR memorabilia for sale. There's not car shows and you go to a lot of the towns and there's not museums and big, attractions to go to. A lot of the places, it's plywood. You got a trough to pee in the washroom. It's not classy, but it's original and it's homegrown.
Yeah, it's the roots, man.
It's the roots. And we need to keep these alive, because we're losing them. We're losing them to housing. We're losing them to weed farms. We're losing a lot of it to development. And in Canada, we need to keep racing alive. And that's through getting new sponsors. As much as people like to sit there and bitch and complain, Graydon, about the car count, we saw a Superstock race. You didn't need 35 cars in that Superstock race. It was good by itself.
Oh, man.
Now, Lane Zardo kind of spoiled it by having such a damn good car, but
a little bit,
but I mean, I can't say that it wasn't good to watch, because the racing was fantastic.
Oh man,
13 cars.
The boy, like, perfect example. Look at Kit, like they didn't know a single guy's name in the field really to speak of, but they were entertained by what they saw. I mean, there was stuff to watch. There was sensory overload, the smell of race fuel, rubber. That's what we've missed for 22 months. I mean,
and what was awesome about it is that what were they able to do? They were able to meet two of the drivers because those drivers were hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Jason Parker was watching the Pinty's race with his daughter.
Yeah.
Right. Garrett Tamirsma was having fries with Joe Chisholm.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
the boys
kind of thing is what I've said. Like, rain delays have provided some of the best memories for us.
Yes.
From the Pinty series, aside from the racing itself, getting into that shutdown situation where a lot of the time under normal conditions where you can actually go see them, they have nothing better to do and can't get away from you. But I mean, like, seeing Joe hanging out at the back there and like, man,
Mike Herniak.
Like Mike,
a legend of NASCAR.
Mike come up and sit with us and chill with us for a while. I mean, that's just it.
Now I get we were probably a little rambunctious for the people around us, but you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up, guys. Come on, get excited, have fun.
I mean, we're not world famous, but I mean, the Bunns historically are known for being loud. If you know us, if you're sitting near us at a sporting event, sorry about your luck.
The Bunns had no idea. The Bunns had no idea how loud Cam K can be at a race.
Yeah, Cam K's got some pipes on him too. So.
Cam K blew out his lungs yesterday. He blew out his vocal cords pretty severely.
I was texting Shantel after the race when I got home for a while, and saying
we tried to holler for you.
Yeah, we were trying to yell, and I said it sounded like I hit puberty again because I got the freaking voice left, and
voices were cracking left, right, and center.
Yeah, and before we move on again, I just when you brought up Frank Wall and Dave Lloyd at Quick, so many things happened on the weekend where stars just aligned perfectly for us. I mean, I was texting Dave through the day and we were checking, saying, are you staying dry, that sort of thing. And he said, make sure that we touch base before we part ways for the day and everything, to hook up for some more quick product for some giveaways and selling and whatnot. But just to say, hey, and he texted me after the second race, said, are you guys still here? Where are you? And I said, Uncle Tony got us down on the racetrack, and what do you see is that quick Ram Rebel roll up not too long after, just in time for that interview that you did with Raphael, and I was standing there like a trophy girl with the quick pail. So and that made me think of Julia Landauer, who's been in the series before, and she's lobbying for Trophy Boys, which
we aren't anything to look at, but
take it for what it is. But I feel like I kind of maybe walked that walk for a little bit that night. So there you go, Julia.
Yeah, we gotta thank Sherry and Caitlin for what they put on, because at the end of the night, you can tell they've been through a lot, going back and forth. Joel, Clinton, and Adam walking around. Clint, I just seeing how often Joel has to walk around the speedway.
That's why he has so many shoes.
That's why he's got so many shoes, you know. But let's talk about who we potentially could see on the podcast. We have a lot of names that we have to go through here. So right now, I've got our list here that it's
the master sheet.
The master sheet that's on Post-it notes because my whiteboard isn't here yet. But Dexter Stacy is somebody that we would definitely want to get on here, chat about his racing resume. He's actually run down south for a bit. Shea Gemmel, very impressive in that 8 car in
beautiful
first race, a 5th place finish in his very first race. That's pretty good. And of course, if you've got Shea Gemmel, you got to get him and his bitter rival from APC. You got to get JR Fitzpatrick, because we got to get him on in this series as well. We saw him last year. Brand new to TSN this year as a reporter, but also one damn good race car driver. We got to get her in the series. More women. An Ontario woman would be awesome to get her in. Kendra Adams, we're going to try and get her on the show. We actually spoke with Garrett Tiemersma at the track. He drives a 17 Wayfright. I think it's a Ford now, but the super stock. Got to get Garrett on here. Jamie Maudsley from the APC series would be kind of cool to see if we could get him. Marc-Antoine Cameron, Pete Shepard from, of course, Pinty's, Andrew Ranger, Alex Gannett from Recware Racing. Of course, you got to talk about White Motorsports with Donald Teege, TJ Renamato, and Mark Dilley, Brent Weller, Matty Scannell, and of course, Kyle Marcelli from the Jacobs Motorsports. It's going to be running the road course events. Ray Cordemosh Jr. Perhaps we'll see maybe Rick Verburn at some point. Tyler DiVincenzo from the APC Late Model Series. Carson Nagy from the Superstock Series. Yes, another Nagy. And maybe we'll try and get some other names back on the show that we've had previously, like DJ Kennington, LP Dumoulin. Maybe somebody we haven't had, like a Jessica Menard or a JF Dumoulin. Maybe, maybe even a Fritz. We haven't actually had any crew members on, so that would be cool.
I was just gonna say, I think we could probably start tapping into the likes. We need Fritz's energy. I think that'd be super fun.
I mean, he's such a big fan of the series and fan of what we do too. So that would be awesome to have. Obviously, we got Shantel. We want to get some names obviously out there from out west. Olivia Whistle, who actually does some work out at Edmonton International Raceway. So she's got a lot of energy.
To Olivia on that.
Yeah, that's a great deal. Of course, she's the daughter of former Pinty's competitor Jared Whistle. And then at the end of the day, too, we got to get some of those other names from the lower divisions in racing. Obviously, we're concentrating on Pinty's, but I mean, there's a lot of names that we'll
have Kyle Steckley back on here.
Kyle Steckley,
soon too,
who's probably grown like 10 feet since we saw him on the podcast as well. He and Ryden Lapsovich made me feel like a bit of a small guy.
I'll tell you what, that Ryden kid is one tall drink of water. That's if he doesn't make it in racing, which he probably will, but he got a fallback career if he can dribble and shoot a ball.
Absolutely. So as Pinty's fans, obviously we're extremely excited about the start of the season. If you haven't been made aware, we're not done seeing Rafael Lessard. He wouldn't tell me during the interviews if we were going to see him.
He didn't want to tip his hand, I guess.
He said you'll have to find out, because he knew that today he was going to be revealing that he was going to be with White Motorsports at GP3R with Napa Auto Parts. They better do some sort of, I hope it's just not like a little tiny Napa decal, but I hope it's like some sort of a Chase Elliott looking Napa car, because that's what the series needs. It
conjures up like a Robin Buck or some sort of
a Doug Brown of Cascar.
Yeah, Cascar-esque throwback.
That would be great, actually. So yeah, we've got a lot, guys, still coming. The Bunn Sons will obviously still be a part of it as well. We're gonna keep going at this, but we wouldn't be anything without the man himself who re-upped for the rest of the year. Remax Jack starts a pack and called Remax Jack. Without him, these would not be possible. Without him, our decals would not be possible to get on the race cars. The trailer would not be possible. Obviously, we want to thank Al Harris for that as well. Papa Harris, as you called him.
If I could just, before you wrap it up,
sure.
I wanted to what you have done in acquiring the media pass for us. I've said this to our friends that we met at the track and people that know me. I don't necessarily fit that media mold. I'm incredibly biased. I'm incredibly opinionated, and I'm incredibly loud. But what I'm saying is, it adds to the stickers and scuffs sort of dichotomy where what you've kind of sacrificed and taken on for the show. I thank you for that, and I'm happy that that your dad got to come along and we got to meet him. And man, what a trooper! I know he had a long day at the track there. And,
he's retired. He's not supposed to be doing this stuff anymore.
he adjourned to the pickup truck there for a little while to read a book and relax. And because sitting on a wet 2x8 all day isn't easy, and walking around on the hard ground and stuff. So it was neat to finally, as everybody has seen, and it's gone over pretty well. It makes me
that's finally me.
Every time I watch that little video of Owen taping it, it's 9 months plus in the making of this, and getting together and doing what we like to do, watching racing and then getting to talk about it. So thanks to Remax, Jack, for allowing us to continue to talk about it, and to Dave and Frank for continuing to support us and doing all these great giveaways. That's something else I wanted to say too. John and Alyssa were able to collect on a pack of that Quick, as well as I didn't want to go through this episode without saying you cannot go to a little home short track and not see a kid who brings a complete flag set and mimics the flag man. And we gave a set to a young fella there he had some hot hands and a quick
man. What the wrist work he had,
skills.
He was better than the flag man.
Yeah, he was sitting down with his mom not too far from us, and we hooked him up with some quick, and it made them real happy. And we gave him a sticker, and it made their day, and it made our day seeing how happy they were. And this is what we talked about basically since the conception of this, that we're hitting the next gear now, and what we have envisioned since day one, and here we are. And
listen, we want this to be successful, not for us. We couldn't give two shits if this gets us famous. Really, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah,
we want
attention to the people that need it.
I want to go and see a McDonald's Canada car. I want to go in there and be at the racetrack and see a Tim Hortons booth and see Ideal Brakes there.
Or a Cameron's Brewery car.
Yeah, well, it's not in business anymore. That's why we have that. But
well,
see Budweiser at the track.
Yeah.
I know Graydon would love a Bud Light. Anywhere. Any sort of beer,
a beer brand,
maybe a Land Shark lager at the racetracks.
Maybe might up the ante. And
well, we want to get that Herniak Hall Motorsports. We want to get that 3-car team up into Pinty's.
I'm doing my
best. What we need is a ladder system, and we're going to try whatever the hell we can do to get companies interested. Whether we have to look stupid doing it, we're going to do it. Eventually.
No shame.
No, we don't. Hell, we can.
Do you see the jorts pictures? Come on.
Oh God.
I will wear jorts for any company.
If we have to do a firefighter type calendar to try and make some money for Quick, we'll do it. But we gotta get people to come to the racetrack, enjoy it. Listen, from Graydon and myself, stop the back and forth with which series is better. Just shut up and come to the races, okay? Watch it, enjoy it. I don't care if you like APC series more. We are fans of any type of racing, dirt, water. If it's people running in a circle, we don't care. We like it, okay?
Yep.
It is what we are born to watch. We are fans through and through. If you aren't, then stay off of social media. Stop complaining. Just let people be happy, enjoying what they like. People enjoy it. Wayne, that's for you. Okay. If you want to say the APC is better, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
We're here to promote if it's APC, Super Stock, Legends, Bone Stocks. It doesn't matter if it's IndyCar. God forbid it's open wheel cars. We are fans of it all, and you'll see it here on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. Graydon Bunn, my friend, we finally met. You're a lot shorter than I thought you would be.
I'm getting old. I'm starting to go the other way.
The Bunn Sons. The Bunn Sons were great. It was awesome to see them. Awesome to see all of you guys. We are planning to actually be back at the racetrack, but you're not going to see us probably until CTMP. We're not going to make the Quebec trips. It looks like it's not going to be fun if we can't go around having to wear masks and be having restrictions, because we want to actually go there and love it and experience it. And listen, I want to be able to have my poutine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with no restrictions. Like, I want bacon poutine first for breakfast, obviously. Listen, the idea, man, is that when we go, we're going as a trip. And we're going do it up right, because from what we've been told, GP3R is not a one-day thing. You've got to go for the weekend. You've got to love it and experience it, and
that's like a bucket list place for me now.
Forget Daytona. Forget Daytona. Honestly, GP3R is what we want to go see.
To see an entire town turned into a race venue is something I need in my life, and I want to live that to the fullest extent. So watch out 2022. But as we said in this episode, CTMP is shaping up to be a great show.
A bigger field too.
A bigger field in terms of the Pinty Series, support series, if you want to call it, because I kind of think the Pinty Series would be the headliner. And as we talked with some of our friends at the track, we're gonna, if we can do some sort of a potluck kind of dinner or something, I don't know what if we're into that,
do a camp out of some sort.
But the thing is we're gonna get together and we're gonna have us some fun, because we're there for a weekend, and we're gonna do it upright. There's no two ways about that. So
absolutely
get ready for a killer Labor Day weekend, and as you said, we got some amazing guests in the pipeline. So just keep sticking around, and we thank you for coming back every time to check us out.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We want to thank anybody that's a brand new subscriber, anybody that's checking us out on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Hell, if you're watching us on YouTube and you're looking at our ugly mugs, we really appreciate you sticking on and watching this long, because it's pretty difficult to do so. But thank you guys so much. We really, really want to thank everybody involved in making this weekend as amazing as it was. The guys that gave us that experience, we won't forever forget it. And we're hoping for more, guys. We really are. We're hoping to do at least CTMP, Flamborough, and Delaware, which would be at least half of the season.
Yeah, so Delaware's a lot for us too. We'll be there, absolutely. So
it's and it's looking pretty good for us, at least for Flamborough as well. It'll be a busy month in September, but it'll definitely be worth it. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. You can find us on all sorts of social media. We have a Twitter account at the SNS Pod. We are also Stickers and Scuffs on Instagram. Obviously, you got to support our Quick Wick pals. That's Frank Wall, Quick Wick Firestarter, also with Dave Lloyd. We are on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. You can also find a lot of our content on the NASCAR Pinty Series Facebook page. As an admin, I'll definitely make sure you also, if you're a NASCAR Pinty Series fan, get on there. Brad Miller, Laps for MD. If you guys come in, get some Quick Wick through us, all the proceeds are going to Laps for MD. We're not taking any of that money. Brad, we're trying to help get a minivan for our buddy Brad, so that when he gets to CTMP, he doesn't have to struggle to travel there with his mobility scooter. So we definitely want to get that all wrapped up. We're also on Twitter at CamK Racing and at Smooth Operator. Of course, you got to replace that though with your 8s in the Smooth. And then we're also on YouTube. Like I said, you've also got your Spotify, iTunes. Holy crap, we're kind of everywhere, aren't we? So
I was going to say, if you can't find us, then you're under a rock. You're perhaps of Amish descent or something. I don't know, but
not that we'd be opposed to that. If you're an Amish descent, we would love it.
Come on in, brace your carts and everything.
Listen, we'll take Amish Furniture Outlet as a sponsor on a car too. So,
Some of the best stuff ever made.
Exactly. We'll take anything,
last, baby.
We'll take anything. I don't know if we're going to be able to get like Aren't We Naughty or anything like that. I don't know if that sponsor is going to really roll, but
could be a tough sell, but we'll try anything.
I don't know if it would be a tough sell, but I have seen a nudist resort as a sponsor in a car before. So
sky's the limit.
You're gonna get it. Hey, if they give you money, who cares? Just as long as you don't have to do the post-race nude, we're all good, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in for the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. All right. Bye, everyone.